Hi, I'm Roger Wakefield, Lit AP, the expert plumber, coming to you on YouTube and Facebook. And today's a special day. So, first of all, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. I hope you get value. I hope you get entertained. I hope you let your opinion be heard. I really hope you like hearing the opinion of others. Today's really neat because I get to bring a special guest to the house, a good friend of mine, Mr. Dustin Deweese. How you doing, brother? Good, Roger. Good to see you, sir, as always. And this is really neat because today, and this is a subject that came up at work a week or two ago. We're working on a performance-based system, and man, you're all about performance pay. Yes, sir. You make a good living at it. I do. Number one, you make a good living at plumbing, but you get paid well because you do a good job at it. Yes, sir. And man, I love that. So let me jump into the chat real quick. Just to see we've already got people in here. Hey, everybody. Absolutely. Samson Kirkland says, "Hey, gents, great topic today." Man, I completely agree. Glenda, what was all that? I don't know what that is unless you just fell asleep on the keyboard. It's time to wake up. We are live. Amber Mendoza, happy Monday. Can't wait to hear about performance pay. Good to see you in here. Medi Leb says, "Hello, I'm from France. I speak English very well." I don't, but yeah, it sounds like you do. I like plumbing and want to know where to find online training courses on plumbing. Thank you for your help. Man, right now, just watch YouTube videos. You're going to learn a bunch of good stuff. Do you know of any good online training courses? Like, I have people send in stuff all the time. Hey, I'm paying a lot of money to take this online course. What do you think?
I think you should get on the YouTube Roger Wakefield.
I've heard of him. I've heard of him.
Definitely helped tremendously.
And it's funny because we talk, so I know that you watch it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I know your son does. I love that. Wyatt's my boy. So Wyatt, if you're out there watching, it is good to see you. You know this guy here? We need to go have dinner, Wyatt. Okay, so it sounds bad. I don't know what sounds bad, but man, I'm looking at everything here. Everything here looks okay. Beautiful. Ricardo, how are you? Good to see you in here. Mr. Colton says sounds good now. Ricardo Grandes is all the way from El Paso. I love that. Man, I was watching there's a food truck in Austin. So if you're in El Paso, I guess you've heard of Chico's Tacos. There's a food truck in Austin that's doing something similar, and apparently it's becoming a big deal down there. Miles Harlan says audio's better now. And I don't know if it was the sound during the video or what. I don't even have the music right now, so we're kind of keeping it real in that. Israel Connie says, "Yep, sounds good. Thank you very much." Nick says, "What's up? Just got done buying some materials." Now, I can already tell y'all I will not be able to keep up with comments today.
And I cannot read them, Roger.
And man, and I'm flying through them, and I'm already like,
everybody's probably already said, "Oh man,
I know,
got his glasses."
I know, and the other ones are saying Roger can't read. That ain't my name. Okay, it says audio's coming and going, so I'm not sure what the problem is. Colton, if you're out there, keep an eye on me, brother. I think everything in here looks good. First class plumbing, Dustin. Whoa, you're in here and live, man.
Beautiful.
Okay, maybe you're not in the first class.
Not me.
It is
maybe first class white trash.
I've been there before. So, man, this is neat. First of all, I want to start off with something really cool and this is something Dustin doesn't even know yet. But I mean, Dustin, do you see it in the floor back there behind me? Yeah, I thought you were giving those to me. Is that? Yeah. Well, keep that right. Man, I'm gonna be giving away the new Milwaukee camera, and that puppy's bad. I mean, man, this thing's cool. I got to tell you that they came and did a demonstration over here. and I loved it for a lot of different reasons. But number one, and this has got the 120-foot reel on it, so it's a good camera, lightweight. You carry it up on the roof with you. You can make it go to your phone. You can make it go to your iPad. You can make it go to a camera mount on it. Are we going to open it? Yeah.
All right.
You might have to come back in a couple of weeks. And
I got a good point.
I know you do. I know you just don't cut me.
Well,
If he cuts me and takes one of these y'all, please let somebody know. Just saying. So anyway, we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to give those away here in a couple of weeks. It's probably going to be long enough. We're trying to figure out when to give them away. So what I will tell you to do is, if you're in here now, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you know, because man, those are nice. When they came and did the demonstration, one of my favorite things about it is, the camera sonde the sonde is in the head.
Yes.
So you run the sonde up to the head up to the problem, you locate it, and that's where your problem is. These here, the entire line is traceable.
So that's whenever you've got the sonode in there in the end, that's when you take it and you're like, oh, it's right here, and you chop through it with a Sawzall.
Yes.
That doesn't ever happen to you?
Yes, one of my apprentices, not me, luckily. One of my apprentices called and he says, man, I got a problem. I said, okay, what's wrong? He said, I cut the camera. So what do you mean you cut the camera? You cut the cable? He said, no. I cut the camera head. And literally cut right through metal spring and all and just kept going.
Yes. He thought it was a root.
Oh, he did. Oh, it was. It was solid roots. So anyway, look, we get to have fun. Sometimes we make mistakes. And he kept saying, man, I'll pay for it, whatever it is. It's like, look, it happens.
Cost of doing business.
It is. And we got to understand that. So today we're going to talk about performance pay. And this is really such a big deal because plumbers want to get paid fair. Plumbers want to make good money.
Yes.
And plumbers deserve to make good money. This is not the easiest job in the world, but it's also not the hardest job in the world. If you want to be good at it, you can study and be really, really good at it. Yeah. And I tell people that all the time is look, never stop learning. You can keep learning and learn your way up and do wonderful things. And man, I got back-to-back comments. Let me grab my guys real quick. Let me holler at them real quick. I'm going to go to a cough break video real quick, and let's see what the deal is. So, opinion to be heard and value the opinion of others. Do you enjoy a freaking awesome experience and love your customers and want to take better care of them? And do you love receiving information in a systematic process? If you said yes to any of these, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to the channel and tell 4,000 of your closest friends about it so they can come subscribe too. Showing good though. Okay, so we think we're back.
Testing.
I've got man, everything going on over here to see is the communications working right. Okay, so Samson Kirkland says audio is working, Roger. Somehow it fixed itself. Well, it wasn't itself. We actually had...
We've got an audio engineer.
Man, we do. We got peoples. And that's a wonderful thing. So today here's why I brought Dustin in. I've known Dustin for a few years now. Good plumber, great reputation around here. And I know he's good at what he does. But I know he also makes good money. And he does that because, man, believe it or not, I had a conversation with him at dinner one night. He said, Roger, I'm 100% efficient on my truck. And I don't know if you're still running 100% efficiency rate or not.
Try to.
You're probably pretty daggum close to it. And that's not easy to do.
That you have to have a team around you to surround you, right? It's not you. If I gave you calls, Roger could not on his own be the one to go and be 100% efficient. It's having a team around you, right? Setting you up for success. So that's a big key part in it. Having a team around you to set you up for success.
But it's more than just a team. You got to keep your truck stocked right.
Absolutely.
You got to have the right tools, materials. Yes. I mean, everything.
All of it.
You can't roll up to a house without 3/4 90s and think you're going to be 100% efficient.
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't happen. So I love that. And I love the fact that it's literally, guys, it's something as the plumber, you have a lot of control of. It does take a team around you.
Yes.
You got to be able to call somebody and say, hey, I need you to deliver a water heater here. We're ripping one out. Get it rolling, whatever the case may be, or a roll of 1-inch copper. We're doing a relay.
Yes.
And I love that. So Okay, let me get back to the comments just because I think that we got our sound right. I'm looking at it. So
Everybody
far,
seems to be
everything
okay
looks
with it.
good. I like this, Joshua, and I don't know if I can see Joshua over here. So if y'all have already asked a question, I'm sorry. I'm skipping right down to the bottom. Joshua says, I got pooped on last Friday. Plumbing is the life for me. Welcome to the club, brother.
Hey!
I mean, there's no better way.
It's a crappy job,
It,
Joshua,
it,
but somebody's got to do it.
is. And right above it, John McNabb says, I'm a convicted felon for robbery when I was 17, about to be 24. I've changed my life. Haven't been in trouble since. Is it still possible for me to get into the field? I'm going to say in Texas, yes. You'll have to do some work. You're going to have to go down and talk to Lisa. You're going to have to go talk to the board. You're going to have your employer, your preacher, your neighbors, anybody you can write letters and say, look, Dustin's really a good kid. He's changed his life a lot, whatever the case is. But that means you're going to have to tell them, hey, look, man, I used to get in a lot of trouble. Committed a robbery, got in trouble, went to prison, boom, boom, boom. But man, if you're fessing up to it and you're owning it, people are going to look at you and say, wow, I would never believe that from you. So what do you think about that?
I think definitely having somebody who's going to speak up for you, if it is your preacher, the plumbing manager you're working for, somebody you worked with previously, and you got to show to them that you've been rehabilitated. So the state of Texas doesn't play with that. I think violent crimes or something, maybe, different things like that, different types of felonies but I think robbery should be okay.
Crimes of moral turpitude is what they call it
Yeah.
here in Texas. You can get in trouble. You can do things. Mr. Sean Strong, good to see you in here, brother. One of my moderators says, check out this handsome guy. Oh, and Roger too. I ain't even right. I'll start off right there. I ain't even right.
I had my hair cut for this one, Roger.
I know, man. No, I can tell clean cut lines. I mean, I'm telling you. Okay, so Jugglin says he's in Texas. God bless you answering. Just need to know that I had a shot.
Yes, sir. You got a shot.
Jugglin, you do. I'd say get in touch with the Texas State Board. Maybe even, I don't know how close you are to Austin. Go down there, knock on the door, say, hey, I'd like to talk to Lisa Hill. Look, what do I have to do? And, you'll know when you start applying for your apprentice card, whether you can get it or not. I know people that have all kinds of criminal records that are still plumbers. So, you can do it.
We got Christopher P. said, oh, Dustin Deweese. I was his apprentice at Baker Brothers. Glad you're in here. Thanks for visiting, and I hope you're doing well. And I know you know about this performance pay, and you're probably being compensated well. So.
No, I love that, and it's good. It's good to see you in here, man. Thank you for coming by. And Shelby, I hadn't done it. Everybody who's in here, do me a favor. Put where you're from and what you do. I see Shelby put in Lofton Plumbing in Florida, very young, 4th year, looking for tips on a bonus plan for our service techs. Then you're going to get something out of this today. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about that. We kind of sat there and discussed some things earlier, but there's a lot of different pay systems for plumbers right now. There's everything from hourly pay, which are normally companies that are T&M, because it's easier to say, hey, look, you worked 8 hours. We charge by the hour, boom, boom, boom.
T&M, time and material.
Time and material, very good. But you can still be an hourly pay plumber and work for a straightforward pricing company.
Yes.
And that's really good, because if you understand how the pricing guide is set up, you understand how many hours are allotted per task. So it's really easy to look at it and say, well, hey, you worked this many hours. It should have taken this long. So accountability is there. But hourly pay is really good for the plumber, because he knows, hey, as long as I work 40 hours a week, I get paid this much. Sometimes it can be tough on the plumbing company, because you get some plumbers that, well, it's a little slow today, so this water heater is going to take 8 hours instead of 3 hours. And we've both seen it.
Yes,
it does happen.
So with that being said, I have worked for a company to combat that. They had kind of a bonus structure based on your efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So we were paid hourly and then bonused on our efficiency.
On your efficiency, which is one of the systems we wrote down.
Yeah.
And I love that, because, look, is right. You can work hourly and still do decent. And if you're bonused on top of that, now you have a reason. Now you have incentive to do it a little bit better. So there's T&M, there's hourly pay, there's commission, and some plumbers work straight commission. Some plumbers work hourly plus commission. Let's talk about commission real quick, because the only problem I see with commission is every now and then you'll get a plumber who's like, man, I need to make more money this month. And they'll start selling stuff that some people ain't never even heard of.
So you know Wyatt, my boy?
Well, yeah.
Okay. So I am teaching a 6-year-old about integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking. Customers trust you because you're the professional. You've showed up to the house. You are the one who is going to say, this is broken and it needs to be fixed. This can be fixed, whatever the case may be. So their wallet, obviously they get the last say, but you're the one to tell them, this is a 12-year-old water heater. Can I relight it? Yes. Would I want to fix this thing and invest in a 12-year-old water heater? No. So here's the options. This is the repair option. This is the replacement. Are you better suited to do one or the other? Are you trying to leave this place? Is this your forever home? Have you thought about tankless? Whatever the case might be. So integrity is something big, but you can have guys that do not have integrity on the commission-based pay.
I still remember one of the most memorable calls we ever got. We had a lady call one day and she says, look, I need somebody to come look at my gas. I said, okay, can you tell us what's wrong? She says, yeah, I have a home maintenance agreement. HVAC guy came out, goes up into the attic to work on our heater and says, hey, we got a problem. You've got some gas leaks up here. I can smell it. If you'll call the maintenance company back, get a plumber out here. Call me when he's got it fixed. I'll come back. So she calls the maintenance company back. They send a plumber out. Plumber comes out, knocks on the door, says, hey, I'm here to look at your gas. Says, okay, it's up in the attic. Says, yeah, let me look outside real quick. Lori knocks on the door 5 minutes later, says, you have a leak underground. It's $10,000. I've turned the gas off to your house. Sign this and I'll get started now, or you can call me whenever you want it turned back on. It's up to you.
Jeez.
I know. It gets worse. So lady had the greatest mindset, because she's just, by the time she called here, she's laughing. She's like, look, after I quit cussing, I started praying and I turned on the computer and y'all came up.
The Lord gave her a sign.
Yeah, he did. And she said, so look, I'm just asking. So, we asked some questions, got some things figured out, sent a guy up there. She had 3 leaks in her attic. Under $1,000. We're there for a little while because we fix one, test it, and here's another one. Sure. Fix one, test it, here's another one. Under $1,000.
Must have been on a Friday.
Yeah, or else it would have taken 4 hours. But the thing is, we kept giving her a price. Look, we got to do another test. We got to do this. Here's what it is. Be honest with your customer. Got that fixed. There was no leak outside. There was no leak underground. There was no $10,000 job to do.
I had an apprentice ask me one time, he said, do you hit the union outside too? I said, what? Wait a second. He said, yeah, when I was so-and-so. He said, we hit the union on the outside just to make sure it's holding good. I said, whatever this guy taught you, I said, you need to forget all of it.
Just to make sure it's holding good. Man.
Hope it's not you guys watching.
Mr. Samson Kirkland from Abacus Plumbing down in Houston. I'm actually supposed to be down in Houston next month on May 24th for a networking event.
From Abacus?
Abacus.
They have a Texas Master Plumber.
Just one?
Their RMP is a Texas Master Plumber.
I've seen his videos, if I'm not mistaken.
He's great.
Yeah.
Mr. Alan O'Neill.
Yes.
Tell him we said hello.
And he's right. And man, Alan O'Neill, somebody that I started watching to learn how to do videos. What is he doing? Why is he doing it for my company? So it was really neat. Jacob Morgan. Ever heard that name?
Hey, Jake.
Yeah, looky there. Christopher P., Dallas, Texas plumbing manager for Commercial Plumbing Company in Dallas.
I did tell Jacob I would do a shout out. Jacob, it's good to see you. Thank you for coming on. He's got his apprentice Emery with him in the truck.
I love that.
They're tuned in.
I love that. We got Jeremy D. TV, New York City plumber. MDK Jams, complete backflow service out of Rockwall. William Cody, CEO, Cody & Sons Plumbing, Heating and Air, since 1976.
Hey.
Been around for a while. Man, that's longer than me. I didn't start till 1980.
Yeah, I sent a few guys to Cody & Sons Plumbing.
Absolutely. Good reputation around here.
They paid great. Took care of those guys.
Jason G. is a Texas plumber with Master Med Gas. Greg Vitlow, New Jersey plumber here, 27 years on the trade. How long have you got in the trade?
About 16 years. I did some underground utility work, so I, definitely It's big pipes, but it was pipes. But I did a couple of years worth of that, so about
Good
16
deal.
years total.
I love that. Sean Strong says, I'm an Instagram plumber out of Nebraska. I'll only do the job if the after pictures will look nice. Hey, if it ain't sexy, don't do it. That's all there is to it.
I do lots and lots of jobs, but not a whole bunch of them make it to Instagram if
But
they don't
yeah,
look real pretty.
I get that. Instagram, Reddit, nowhere. Sean's one of my moderators, been around for a while. If y'all don't know, boom_the plumber on Instagram, a great guy. Tenali PS says, hey, Roger, I'm Tenali Plumber Drain Layer from Zimbabwe.
Welcome.
Have you worked over in Zimbabwe?
I have not.
No, me
I
either.
keep it here in Texas.
Yeah.
I have critiqued some plumbing in Vegas and California and hotel
It's easy
rooms.
when we're here in Texas, ain't it? Yeah, we go out of town. And I do it too. I was literally in the Sheraton in downtown Dallas this week, and I'm one of those plumbers, man. I'll get down on the floor. I'm looking up underneath the cabinet. I want to see what is going on.
Go over to a friend's new house, and I don't ask. I just start opening cabinets. Where's the water heater at? Oh, I don't know. We haven't seen it. You haven't seen the water
You don't know
heater?
where your water heater is? Wait a minute. How do you turn the water off at this house in case of a flood?
Let me show you.
Yeah, that's me. So Zimbabwe, really passionate with plumbing. Plumbing is mine for life. Man, I love that attitude.
It's awesome.
Les Taylor, Dallas, Texas, here to listen and learn from down the street at Rescue Air. And Sammy Hall, I'm a union plumber in the DC area. Great work. Flow and pay is great. How is the union down south? Would it be a big difference? It would be a big letdown coming down to local 100.
Can we ask them about his scale?
Yeah, we can. Sammy, can you tell me what scale is in DC? I think Dallas right now is about 38 something an hour, maybe a little more, but that's on the check. There's also about a $12 package, insurance, 401k, different stuff like that. So yeah, it's
that part of it goes towards a pension.
Yeah, but really the owners put a lot towards the pension. But yeah, $5 an hour, so it goes towards the pension. Okay. It adds up quick.
So I did have a question that came in from a friend of mine about scale. And he had mentioned something about $31 an hour, and then the grunt guys making $28. What's that about? I have no idea about any of the union pay.
Okay, so union pay, and let's say scales, let's say $40 an hour to make it easy, because it's not far from it. First year apprentice makes, I think, 45%.
Okay.
So you take 45% of $40. So what, $17 an hour to start out? $18. Yeah, something like that. And then every year, or every 6 months, really, you get a 5% raise.
Okay.
So 6 months later, you get 5%, 6 months later, 5%, until you get up to 85%, which is the beginning or second semester, your fourth year. Then you don't get any more raises till you turn out, till you graduate. Then you go to 100%. Okay. But the grunts, I guess he would mean apprentices, PATs, pre-apprentice trainers. They can bring in pre-apprentice people before they're in the program. Okay. Which is good. They can bring them in, use them as labor. That they can use them helping. They can use them doing a lot of things. There are some benefits to the union. You get a training program where you go to school 2 nights a week.
Sammy did say it's $45 an hour for journeyman.
And that's
over here on our
okay, yeah. On the live one. Okay, so $45 an hour for journeyman. That's not bad scale. And Sammy, I'm sure you got a nice package on top of that, which is the insurance, the pension, all the other things that go into it. So it's probably a $60, $70 an hour. Yeah, not a bad deal.
No.
And DC ain't the highest paying place in the country. It's like New York, California, Chicago's pretty good. Yeah. So scale's good.
I think here in Dallas, I don't know that any of our hourly companies are going to be hiring someone at $45 an hour, especially for the mom and pop shops or even what we'll call open shops. But that's a great wage.
Yeah, he says the package is around 60.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So figure that's $2,400 a week. That's not a bad living for a plumber.
Absolutely.
Okay, so jump back over here in the questions. Mr. Steve Arloa, another one of my moderators from Hawaii. How would you like to work in Hawaii?
Aloha.
I know. As soon as I said Arloa, when that grin started,
Aloha.
He's like,
I know.
I could move to Hawaii and work.
I know my sweet wife, Mrs. Amelia. She may be watching, so think about relocating to Hawaii. Aloha. Yeah. I've already started.
Yeah, Steve. Leave him alone, okay? I want him down the street, Steve. Not in Hawaii. Tom Felcher, hey, from... Yeah, CT from Connecticut, HVAC technician. Love the channel. Thank you very much, sir. Derek Bartley's a journeyman plumber with Ram Mechanical Services.
Welcome.
Good to have you in here. Rich Mackay, how are you, sir? Yeah, I didn't do my LinkedIn last week, so didn't get to see you in there. Good to see you in here, brother. Larry the Plumber, Mac Plumbing, Ohio, 29 years. Andrew Smith from Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, Dallas. Good to see you in here. Glad to have you here. So let's jump into this real quick, just because we've visited for a little while. Good to see all y'all in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've talked about T&M. We've talked about hourly. We've talked about commission. And then there's like hourly plus commission, hourly plus performance, hourly plus efficiency. So there's a lot of different things. Did a sunset video last night. Does that mean sunset of your career or sunset sun going down in Hawaii?
We'll have to check out his channel.
I know.
You'll have to check out his channel to find out.
know.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You didn't watch the video.
No, I feel bad. No, I love Steve. I just don't want to see his videos. I'll be like, dude, I want to come to Hawaii now.
What does vacation mean?
It means you keep working. I don't know. What is that word? I used to take those a long time ago.
It's nice.
It is. It is nice. Javier Gutierrez from Baker Brothers. How are you,
compa,
sir?
¿cómo estás, mi amigo?
Absolutely. Bienvenidos.
¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Where's the library?
I get
Learn
it,
that
brother.
one.
I know it. I speak a little Spanish. Jeremy DTV says 75 an hour plumber. A local one. Yeah.
New York?
New York. If you're in New York and you're in local one, I don't know if I guess you're still a plumber or you are a plumber. If John Cullen is still an instructor up there, tell him I said hello. Great instructor. I'll tell you what, I used to go to the instructor training program for Local 100. Man, the instructors out of New York are like jam up.
Yeah.
Sharp, on top of it, know their thing. I mean, that's probably, to me, one of the best locals in the country.
There's a big-time line. I saw a video once, but a huge line of hundreds of people trying to get in for a few slots. So I think even just getting in, maybe you knew somebody or stood through that line. So congratulations on getting in there.
Yeah. And Jeremy, if you know, I think that they get about 600 to 800 applicants a year for like 50 or 60 open positions.
Yeah.
But at $75 an hour, and they work 35 hours a week.
Hey.
That's their week. I know. It's like, I love it.
I remember my first 3 days of the week.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Major difference between steam fitting and plumbing. Well, plumbing is your sewer, water, gas. Steam fitting is more your pressure pipe, screw pipe, stuff like that. Here in Texas, we do the gas, and that scares a lot of people around the country.
Well, another big difference is the steam fitter can chew their fingernails.
Yeah, plumbers can't.
So,
well, you can. You just won't like it. Well, or you may. You know, I'm just going to throw that out there. It's a possibility. All right, so let's talk about performance pay. If you're a good plumber,
yes,
and you're like a go-getter, and man, you love to knock stuff out, get in, get your job done, take care of your customers, treat them well, give them the best options. What's the best kind of pay? Well, or in your opinion, and there's a lot of them that we've talked about.
So I've been paid hourly, and I would make little spiffs off different things, selling memberships to whatever their home services project would be. If it was just $5, $10, $15, drain maintenance stuff. So that was a little bit of extra income. I have worked for an hourly pay. With that hourly pay, I was bonused on my efficiency, which worked out really well in my favor. I primarily do a whole lot of water leaks. I have thousands of dollars worth of equipment that I've invested into that, so I can get in, do a water leak very efficiently, and be out in a timely manner. So that was a great pay scale for me. What I do now is I work on commission, and having so much time and great communication with customers, it makes it so much easier for me to be able to convert a potential sale to a sale, or instead of a repair, just in discussion, just like I would talk to my grandfather, best spending money here instead of there, but commission works well for me. And I don't know that I could ever work hourly again.
And I like that because I love the commission, because it gets down to, are you willing to work?
Yeah.
You know, the more you work, the better you work, the harder you work, the more efficient you work, the more money you make.
More opportunities that you have.
Yeah.
Right.
And okay, so I just put a link in here because I wanted to do this earlier and forgot about it. Dustin's got a great Facebook group. It's Texas Plumbers.
Yep.
Why'd you start that?
So my sweet wife, I was looking,
Amelia.
Mrs. Amelia. So I didn't have like a huge community of people to talk with and discuss. So it was just something that I saw a need for. There was lots of like national groups and stuff that had been started, but there was nothing for Texas specifically. And we're kind of not on an island on our alone, but we'd like
But
to
we
think.
could be.
Yeah, we could be. Don't forget that.
Absolutely. We can
Um,
succeed any day, y'all.
So it was just a great community that we were able to get together, people to talk, and just be a great community. So that's why it started.
And y'all, I'm sitting here scrolling through just the ones that show up on top, and it's like I know almost everybody coming across here. So
Yep.
there are some really good people in there. I put the link into it down here. If you're not in his group and you're a plumber, click on it and go over there, answer some questions. I think you asked,
Yeah.
are you really a plumber?
Well, yeah, I asked for a license number. We asked if what you do in the plumbing industry, license information, or where do you live in Texas, and then do you agree to the rules? So hop on there. I think we got 5,600 members, and they're all vetted by me, and we have my wife as an admin, and then a couple of moderators that help. Jacob Morgan is one of them.
Good deal. So the rules are: be kind and courteous, no hate speech or bullying, and no promotion or spam. So it's really pretty easy. Get in there, treat people nice. It's really good. So like I said, I put the link in there. If you're in here, jump over there, say hello. It's a good group to be in. So when you're building performance pay, you've got to look at three different groups. You've got to look at the owners of the company, because at the end of the day, which they're not supposed to be in a not-for-profit business,
right?
But some companies are, not intentionally, I promise. But the owners have to make money. The plumbers have to make money. The customers have to be treated fairly.
Yeah, the three wins, right?
Absolutely. If it's a win-win-win situation, it's good. So for an owner, most companies strive to make 15 to 20% profit. Now, you may have a year where you're making a lot more than that because you're growing, but you're doing it with your own people. You're not adding a lot of people yet. The phones are ringing a lot more. Everybody's getting really efficient. Everybody's doing good. So, and you might get that profit margin up a little bit, but you're really striving for 15 to 20% profit. Your field hands, your labor, should be right around, I'm going to say 18 to 22, 23%. And that the 23 can get up like on the high side.
I think that, in an ideal world, that would work great.
Yeah, and it would. Let's say 20%, right in the middle.
Sure.
But if you take just a straight 20%, do you take out materials? Do you take out subs? Do you take out an apprentice that goes with them? Or do you, as the company owner, say, look, I want the apprentice in there because that's my future.
That's an investment into the future of your company.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I set up my price system at Texas Green Plumbing to where we could afford that apprentice in there. And people are always saying, well, look, am I paying extra for that? Look, no, you're not. He's here to help the plumber, hopefully get things done quicker, get materials out of the truck, tools, whatever need be, lock the truck so nothing gets stole. It happens. I know. We've all been through it. Well, what do you think about just a straight, flat out 20% commission? Is that a good deal for the plumber, the homeowner, and the customer?
So with the 20%, I think is a fair wage, because there's some people I know that deduct materials and they'll deduct sub crews, and they're paying up to 33%. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's locally here in Dallas. That could be different anywhere else, but 33% is an excellent wage. But once you start to deduct every single, part that you purchase off of the truck, any additional labor that you have, equipment rentals from the shop, like that stuff is going to add up quickly. So if you, in fairness, are not putting in, 4 water heaters a day, and you're making 20%, having an apprentice and not taking materials out, I think would be a fair wage. If you are taking those out or doing 4 water heaters a day, a different type of pay structure would be fair for the company.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm no expert in this, but a 20% commission seems to be fair for plumber, company, and customer.
I like this comment that just came up, and I'll jump right back over.
Sure.
But Timothy says you don't have any videos on how to do a final inspection to test water column. Do you? Says I don't even know where to start researching how to do it. I've looked it up several times. I just don't know, and I probably don't have anything like how to test a water column. Really, if you're just trying to do like a standing water test on a slab, anything like that, or maybe even a slab leak repair, you can always take a metal adapter, screw it in your clean outs, extend it up to 5 feet, 7 feet, wherever you want it, and fill it up to there. That's just going to put a couple extra pounds of pressure on it. But you've got to remember, if you do that, now you have to put test balls in your showers, in your bathtubs.
Don't forget sinks.
Your toilets, your sinks, anything that you're bringing the water higher than, you better put a test ball in there, or you're gonna be filling it up outside, and you're really gonna be filling up the house because it's all tied together. Just being honest with you,
a terrible scenario.
That would not be a good one. So Timothy, what we do, we normally fill it up to the slab. If we're testing, and at least us, whenever we do a slab leak test, we'll fill it up to the slab. We've never had an inspector come in and say, no, we need more water than that.
Yeah. If I'm doing like a sewer service outside, clean seal at the tap, and then I'll plug off inside if they really want to have a 10-foot head. So we could make it happen, but we're not going to test the whole house on a 10-foot head unless it's new construction.
And I know everything's capped off and secure.
Yeah. So that's different. And I've seen them filling 10-foot head from the last lavatory sink in the second floor and having a stack plumb through the roof. So some municipalities would require that.
Okay, so we got some different things here. So Drain Medic says, is it 20% of labor only? Some companies, yes. Some companies, no. Some companies are like, look, we'll give you 20%, but we're going to come in first and pull out subs and materials.
So again, we're kind of back to the square one. The 20%, if we were doing it across the board, again, my assumption and what I have worked on primarily, I've never worked for a time and material company per se. So I don't know exactly how that would work or how they would make that fair from everyone. I know that there's going to be a material markup on the parts, right? So they're making some money on the parts, also making some money on your labor. So again, 20% commission might be tough. That would be more of an hourly wage. You go in and I feel like that's fair for customer, company, and plumber.
Okay. So 20%, just straight off top. Okay. A water heater, you've got a lot of material there.
Yes.
Still straight 20% on that?
So that would be the one exception that I could think of to make it fair.
And just asking, because me too.
To make it fair for everybody, that would be really the only exception I could think of.
Okay.
Tankless water heaters or water heaters.
I didn't even think tankless, but that's even more.
Yeah, you get $2,000, $2,400 worth of material costs for concentric vent kits and just the whole
9
shebang.
yards. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so Randall Levins is watching from the Caribbean, St. Lucia.
Ooh.
Man, we're in the wrong spot. Why are we in Dallas, Texas?
It's kind of dreary outside today, too.
I know, man. Kind of gray.
I did have sunglasses on for about 15 minutes of my drive earlier, so it did feel nice.
I get it. Sean Strong says, I never learned how to do a percolation test for leach fields. Roger, make a video. Yeah, I don't do those either.
I don't either.
I call landscape people and say, here, you tell me where it's good. Cody says, you guys talking 20% commission with no hourly? Dustin, do you get paid for meetings and non-billable time?
No, I don't at all. So if I go out all day long and I make no money, then I make no money. If I was at the office for a meeting, they would extend that to me as kind of a hourly rate for meeting times or, again, non-productive stuff. I've never actually taken them up on that. Not that I'm too proud to do so, but I do well in my time. So
right,
today,
it makes it worth it.
Yeah, today I had some non-productive time, but I felt like I got a few things accomplished in that non-productive time. I spoke to customers, I ordered materials. So today might be a net zero, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I'm not going to nickel and dime the company I work for a few bucks whenever I was generating some leads.
I like that. And look, sometimes lead generation, sometimes sales, that's part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, look, I gotta sit down, put some numbers together. Well, we're not going to pay you to sit here and do that. Okay, you're good. I'm going to make my percentage on the job when it sells.
Sure.
And you've got to look at it that way. So now let's talk about the hourly plus commission or the hourly plus efficiency. And I like that because, I've seen a lot of different pay systems from around the country. And some of them are like, look, we pay the guys this much an hour. But like once they go over time, that starts coming down, meaning if it took you 45 hours to make this much money or run your calls, you got 5 hours overtime. So part of that overtime comes out of your efficiency commission, I guess, or your commission, not your efficiency.
So can I explain the efficiency?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So whenever you're doing like a flat rate or each task, let's just say that your upfront pricing, is that what we'll call it?
Mm-hmm.
Upfront pricing or flat rate tasks would all have a particular amount of sold hours involved with them. Let's just say that Roger sent me out as his plumber to go do a water heater. And in his price book, he has figured it up to be X amount of dollars, and he's figured in 3 hours of labor. Okay. So if I went and did that water heater in 3 hours, I would be 100% efficient. If I did it in 6, I would be 50% efficient. So that's kind of when we're talking, just so everybody's on the same page, efficiency would be based on sold hours.
And I like that. And I mean, think about it. Because if you've got 3 hours to do a job and you do it in 2 hours,
sure,
you can actually increase your efficiency.
Yeah, 133%.
You bet. And I think we've talked before, and there's weeks you've gone over 100% efficiency.
Yeah, pisses people
They don't like
off.
that, do they?
No.
Owners of companies don't like that.
Yeah, that pisses people off. So, and it pisses customers off too. So I try and take my time, and I know what would be allotted for this particular task. I take my time, I check, I double check, we test. So there's no stone unturned when I leave. So they don't think to themselves, well, something minor was missed. Well, he sped through this whole job, and that equals a negative Google review.
And let's talk about that.
Sure.
Reviews.
Yes.
That helps you get more business time.
Yeah, and I'm compensated for Google reviews, like a 5-star review. It is a little bonus that they would give us, $20 or something. But
that's a pretty cool deal.
If I go in, what that does for your company is, again, Roger sends me out. Let's say that there's 6 negative reviews there, and I'm looking on Google to find your plumbing company. I'm going to avoid them.
Yeah,
like the plague. But if I go out and it says, hey, Dustin Deweese came into my home, he was great, he did this, he did that, and then I see the next one, Roger Wakefield fielded my phone call, with Texas Green Plumbing, and his guy showed up, uses his name, and then the CSR and the dispatcher and everybody you spoke to, I feel like much more inclined. I read reviews.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
well, I think we all do these days.
I would feel substantially more inclined to call those people to know that I saw Roger advertising. I spoke to Roger. He is a real person. He's here. He's real.
Yeah. I saw him. Talk to him.
Yeah. So, and that would make me feel way better as a consumer, at least.
I like that. Now, look here. Wyatt says, hi, Roger and Daddy.
Hey.
And he says he wants to be there next time.
Come on.
You know what, little brother, you come here anytime you want to.
We'll do some hands-on. You haven't showed me the new shop
area. I know. And I meant to take you out and show you before we did it because I wanted you to be able to tell people just how cool the shop is.
I heard him. So I tune into the videos as much as I can. And Roger did say there's a new shop out there and he can't wait to show us. And I haven't seen it yet.
On the other side of the wall. And actually, it's been in a video or two. So it's there. It's public information now.
I'll look at it.
I'll definitely take you back there in a minute.
Of myself.
Well, and I may hit the cough button in a minute. We'll just run out there, look at it real quick, and bring you back. Yeah. Look, Sean, you need to meet Wyatt. Wyatt's the man.
Wyatt, you need to come on up. Maybe he can have a look at these cameras with us.
Absolutely. Just bring him up here, Mom. We still got about 45 more minutes.
Yeah. We're an hour and a half east.
Well, you better drive fast to me.
I live pretty far in East Texas, so I don't think they'll make it.
You moved way on out there. So what town are you in now?
Lone Oak.
Yeah. Way out there.
75 miles from my office.
All right. So Triangle Plumbing says 15% on water heaters with no deductions. Makes sense.
Sure.
Sean Strong's trying to get a job there now. Uh,
Sean Strong, your moderator,
yep,
the
my
Instagram
moderator.
plumber.
Yep, the Instagram
Okay.
boom _ the plumber. Matter of fact, he was at the truck yard that day.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
he came in. Probably met him.
I may have met him. Well, we came in. I came in muddy. I crawled from underneath the house, came and shook hands,
Hopped in the truck, come visit,
and I did.
Won a backpack and got out.
I did.
Even came back to pick it up.
My
Like,
sweet
hey, dude, your backpack got you won that. Like,
my
I'll be
sweet
right back.
wife picked it up
Yeah,
for
I
me.
know.
I did win it though. That was great.
That is cool. Got people out of Kentucky here. Now, guys, says I think Timothy Waters says I think hourly plus commission is really fair pay.
Sure.
And it can be as long as, like we were talking earlier, your plumbers are being very fair. It's not just, hey, I'm gonna sell a $10,000 gas relay, spend a day out here scratching the surface and covering it back up where it looks like we put something in, or maybe they really do dig it up and do that. And Amelia says he said, "Yay." Good. Wyatt knows he can come up here anytime. Flat rate pricing is high enough to turn customers off. Not if it's set up right.
Sure.
Y'all use flat rate pricing.
Yeah. So absolutely.
So do we. And I've used it probably the last 4 or 5 years now.
So if I could go in and say, hey, it's $245 an hour plus parts, or I could come in and say it's $300 to make this particular repair. If you were at $250, $245 an hour, and it took me 3 hours to do it with $60 in parts, and I screwed around and I went, hung out in the truck for a minute, I think
$850, $900.
Yeah. When if it takes me 3 hours and I've already quoted you $300 with whatever kind of issues pop up, you're there. Or if it's 15 minutes and you're very efficient with your time.
And it could happen too.
Yeah.
All right. Greg Vitko says, how are you charging for new construction? I do $1,000 a fixture or about $600 to $650 a square foot. I don't do new construction at all. We've literally tried to get completely out of it. You're normally dealing with the general contractor, so you're normally dealing with 30, 60 days pay, meaning you don't get paid today. It'll be whenever they get paid or whatever. Do y'all do any new construction type work?
No, we'll do some like commercial remodel stuff. I don't personally, but my company does.
Mm-hmm.
So I that's tough for me because I'm out on that. I have no idea. I know that they would charge per the stack, per fixture, a lot of subcontractors. And for me personally and a lot of business owners that I know, it's kind of a hard market to get into, very, very competitive. So that's not something that I've ever really experienced.
And I've never done it like that, but I know that you're saying $1,000 a fixture. I've heard plumbers around here like construction's like $2,500 to $3,500 a fixture. And I mean, you think about it.
I guess it would be more of a high end.
A bathroom. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, a bathroom, $10,000.
Sure.
But that's fixtures, that's piping, that's permits, that's inspections, that's everything. So, different parts of the country, I'm sure there's different prices. I did just put in another link there to Dustin's Facebook group, Texas Plumbers. If you're not from Texas, we don't want you. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry, that just slipped out. You know me. I'm from Texas.
He's telling the truth.
Okay, there you go. We're good. If you are a plumber outside of Texas, we want you to move to Texas. Then you can be in the group. See, I guarantee you can get a job.
100%.
Man, people are looking for plumbers in Texas big time.
I know that Roger, he needs plumbers too.
Man, I do. Okay, so hourly plus efficiency. And this is cool because you can take your hourly and say you're really efficient. It's kind of like a bonus.
Yes.
So, because you get paid now, because the more hours you're efficient, the more hours you're actually working, charging, billing.
Correct.
Like an attorney.
Yes.
And your hourly rate, does the hourly rate go up, or is there a bonus paid on the efficiency? So
the bonus would be paid on efficiency, and it's kind of staggered between, we'll say 50%, because that's what expectation is, that you would bill out 50%. Mm-hmm. So you work 50 hours, you bill out 25 hours. Or again, on the other end of the spectrum is you work 50 hours and you bill out 50 hours.
Right.
So the pay structure, again, would be staggered from 50 to 100 in increments, whatever you choose. I did discuss with the company I work for, but that's kind of what their structure is. Now, how they do that exactly would be whatever works best for you or your company. but I see the benefit in it because I did well with that whole system.
Yeah, Sean's right. Sean says, I was born in Oklahoma, so I don't think I'm allowed in the Facebook group. You're right. I'm just saying. You know what, Sean? You'd be real nice to Dustin. He may at least think about it, but he's still going to say no.
We got Jacob. He said that there's different pay for different plumbers and styles, and he respects them all but prefers commission. So Jacob is he's a very big producer for our company. Jacob and I have worked together. He worked with me as an apprentice, but Jacob, he deals in whatever he needs to. He's great at everything, but he is an excellent plumber when it comes to tanklesses.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as commission is concerned, he does excellent because people ask questions. He's very knowledgeable about it. And we had the conversation earlier. He said he couldn't work anywhere that wasn't commission again either.
No, and I like that because if you are, and I'm going to call it a performance plumber.
Sure.
Look, I mean, we've got some plumbers that are good, that they perform.
Yeah.
They show up every day. They come in with that mental mindset, that attitude. Hey, man, I'm here to take care of my customers. I'm here to do the right thing. Why are we having a meeting? I need to go to work.
Yeah.
And man, you can tell those guys, it's like, man, this guy wants to go. If you're that kind of plumber, you can make great money. You see these plumbers that come out, hey man, this meeting might last 2 hours. Man, we're going to get paid 2 hours, just sit here and do nothing.
And they got donuts.
Yeah, and they got donuts. And they got pigs in the blanket back there. Did you see them? I'm going to go get some more. Man, you got to be careful, though, because people now, man, it's crazy. And I don't know if it'll let me. Yeah, William Cody says, what about the different talent tiers?
Yes.
With first-year tradesmen, journeymen, can they make a living doing commission because they are not generally given the larger type jobs?
So absolutely.
The opportunity's there on any job you go on.
Yeah. So my issue was whenever I was very first starting in the trade, I actually told this story the last time I was on. I worked for an hourly company. They gave me jobs. I did what I was supposed to do. And I made 45, 50 grand a year. And for a new plumber, I felt like a decent wage, but there was more to be made. So something was wrong with me. The boss man brought me in, and I had gotten a couple of negative reviews, which was ultimately going to cost me my job, and that's what he told me. So I had to figure out something different. There was a disconnect from me to the customer in my communication. So the communication was the part that I lacked. So on my own, I went out to figure out how I was doing it wrong, and I got some books, and I read as many books and devoured as much information as I could, and identified the problem and addressed it, and that changed completely what I was doing and how I performed. So maybe I was going into it with the mindset of $300 was too much, or I knew that it was $35 worth of material for this job, and I communicated that with my body language. So that was a problem that I figured out, addressed, and changed completely. So that first year tradesman, if he can identify that quickly or has a good teacher, he doesn't have to go through that. And the sky's the limit with a commission base.
Mm-hmm. And when he says the sky's the limit, it's number one, we all want to work for profitable companies. And if we are literally just out there, hey, you call me to unstop a toilet, unstopped it, it's, $100, $150, whatever. Thank you. Have a good day. I mean, we've got to be able to walk into a job and look at the entire system.
Sure. So that scenario happened to me the other day. Yep. A couple $100. We get in, service fee plus whatever my material usage was. But it was like a 2002 American Standard toilet, which make great toilets. But the thing that has changed since 2002 and now, it's 20-year-old technology. So that $200 toilet stoppage turned into a brand new toilet being installed because I communicated with them, hey, this is what's going on. This particular toilet didn't have a glazed trapway. The new ones have a larger diameter. They use a 3-inch.
Stop up a whole lot less.
So, and I can see stuff like that, but that's something that's helpful. There was no pressure. It was like, there's an option. And the lady's like, wow, that's great. I have 5 toilets in the house. When can we do them? And then my thing was, now. We can do them
There's
now.
no better time.
And she says, really? And I don't mind calling the office to ruin my whole schedule for installing 5 toilets. I could have made $200 and hit 5 calls that day. But just from what I said to her, she really liked it. She saw the value in it. Perfect. Let's do all of them.
And that's a big thing that I hope you all hear. She saw the value in it.
Sure.
If you know, do you get many callbacks saying, you know what?
No.
Dustin came out the other day and man, he just charged me way too much. Because he sells the value. And that's something, and I see some of my plumbers in here. I see this happen all the time. Hey, you know what, man, Dustin just left and, now I got my butt hurt and man, he just charged me way too much money. Can y'all give me a discount? Well, how did he charge you too much money? Didn't he go over everything? Oh yeah. Man, when you sell the value, and I learned this from Abacus Plumbing. I learned this from Bishop Plumbing up in Chicago, from Robert Melko. They call their guys in every other, or actually 2 times a week. So I say every other day, 2 times a week. And they talk about the customer's house they've been in.
Sure.
What is their disc profile? Did you figure out, are they
C?
Are they a high D, an I? Are they an influencer? Are they dominant? Are they calculating? Are they steady? What kind of person are they? Did you communicate with them that way? But here's the deal. If you sell the value in what you do, people don't call back.
No.
People don't worry about it. They're like, look, man, go. And they're happy. Not happy when you leave. They're happy.
It's an excellent product you installed. Yeah,
you bet.
So that's something that I identified. And some people who are influencers say, oh man, well, this newest Toto toilet that washes your butt for you and heats up and does this. Well, we can definitely get those. It's not like, oh, I don't install those. I don't know where to get them. I don't mess with bidets. Or, hey, I'm a yes guy. Absolutely. How much did you want to spend is usually the question. So sometimes it's a tongue-in-cheek comment, but then they're like, well, I also get a lot of questions about the waterless systems.
Yeah. And I
try
not to do a lot of those.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. I know about those.
Yes. The waterless systems. So Kyle Hoffman, one of my apprentices, how would you structure apprentices? Keep them hourly, or if they have the right endorsements, to run those calls on performance pay?
Don't be asking too many questions. Don't ask too many questions. Roger doesn't want to have to come back and
no. Look, Kyle's got the greatest. Kyle moved down from Washington State. Came down here to learn plumbing. Absolutely, came down here to work for us, and came down to interview before he ever moved down. Got his apprentice card before he ever got here. So when he came in, he's like, "Look, I'm ready to roll." Great mindset, wants to learn, wants to grow, and this is something I talked to him about. Or we discussed, because we're going to a performance pay,
sure,
and that's what brought this whole thing up. Well, let's look at this and play with some ideas. But what do you think about apprentices, and what do you think about apprentices with endorsements?
So I think apprentices. I started at $8 an hour, kind of as low on the totem pole as you could get, and kind of graduated.
I was at like $4.75, so it was a lot lower back.
Do we want to say how many years ago that was?
Or okay, just a couple.
So transparency.
Had to go there. We're going to hit the video. We're going to cut this down to a one-man show real quick.
So with mine, I kind of started as low as you could get. Just like you did. Mm-hmm. So with that, this was an investment in my future. Is kind of how I had to tell myself this thing. And at the end of it, I did 3.5 years as an apprentice, pretty much. And went for a journeyman's license, kind of staggered my way up to where I was making $16 an hour. I didn't do the tradesman's license.
16 an hour as an apprentice, or as a journeyman? Okay.
Yeah, so as an apprentice. So I worked my way up, but what I did to supplement that is I had a family. So not only was I an apprentice plumber, but I did valet at nightclubs in the evenings. I dressed up as different characters for kids' birthday parties. And whatever
he still does, but his price has gone up a little bit.
A little bit. Whatever it took for me to become a plumber so that I could take care of my family, I had to do that. So having the endorsements, or had I been doing that, I think that's tremendous. To have a drain cleaning endorsement, or here in Texas, we offer the residential utility installers. Mm-hmm. So some stuff outside.
He's to the hours where he's fixing to be able to get both those.
Correct. So that's awesome, man. Put in there. The only thing as far as a downside that I saw to that, and this is just me personally, you get to make more money, but it takes you away from learning from a good plumber. Okay. So that more money, is it worth it when you stop learning? Because you would. If you're running your own truck and you're unstopping drain lines, I've seen guys.
They're so busy that's all you're doing all day, every day.
I've seen guys kind of get into this little,
Rut.
hole. It's a rut. Not that drain cleaning is a rut, but that's what they're good at. That's what they do. That's what they know. They stopped locating water leaks or gas leaks or anything else with a plumber to make a few extra bucks. So that's hard for me. That's just me personally. But I think apprentices should be compensated well. I think that in the company's pricing should be, structured to where they are compensated well.
And like I said, whenever I first set up my upfront pricing book, I made sure to work it in where I could have an apprentice on every truck. And I did it for that reason. I really think, and what Sean's talking about, like we got almost 100 people in here. I had almost 100 a while ago. I can't tell how many's on here because part of them are on
65 watching.
Well, you got Facebook and you got YouTube, so it kind of,
way to go.
It's kind of crazy.
Hey, everybody, anybody that's in new, good to see y'all.
Absolutely. And make sure you give a thumbs up down at the bottom. If you give a thumbs down, hit the button twice. That makes it go away. Sorry, just sorry about that.
Subscribe,
if you like
share
what you're doing, absolutely. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on anything. We talked about this a while ago. There are 2 big old Milwaukee boxes back here behind me. Here in the next few weeks, we're going to be giving away a Milwaukee camera system. How much money did you say?
What? Cash.
Cash?
It was cash.
Never mind. We may be giving them away if your name's Dustin. No, I'm joking. We're going to do a drawing. It'll be really neat.
I can't enter into the drawing now.
I know. No, you can, because look at the deal. This will be done by the software that we have.
Perfect.
I can't.
I'm entering.
I can't do nothing.
I'm entering.
It's going to be funny. How much do you say you're going to give me?
Cash.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Cash.
No. So let me go back here. Say we set up a 20% commission for a journeyman. Now you've got an apprentice with endorsements. Put him at 20% too.
So again, the structure could work either way. And yes,
because the company, it's not going to affect the company one way or the other. You're paying a percentage of your labor to get this job done.
With drain cleaners, I think even more so, you could increase that a bit. Okay, drain cleaning is literally equipment
strictly
cost.
Labor, right?
Just equipment and labor.
Yep.
So again, that could stand to go up, and that's my opinion. Again, I don't know wins and losses on that because I was never a part of that area of the plumbing, but I can see a win where a guy with a drain endorsement making 25%.
I get that. What is it? Steve Arlo says you can send the cameras to Honolulu, Hawaii.
I'll bring them down personally.
I'm climbing in a box. Yeah. When you open it up, surprise. That could work.
Wyatt and
Amelia. 2 boxes.
Wyatt and Amelia, I'm sure they're still listening.
There you go.
We'll take them to Hawaii.
Yeah. We'll get 1 box. Y'all getting another. There you go. Mr. Steve Arlo says, hey, look, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, show some love and support. Got Brother Dustin in here today to talk about commission. Plumbing when I was a commission, you got $5 to run your own callback and $10 to run someone else's. Probably talk an hour later. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about that. Your own commission, you get a callback.
Sure.
Do you still have callbacks?
Yeah, everybody has callbacks.
It happens. Okay, if you don't have any, you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything.
It's not usually, maybe it's something with the product or, but it's not usually like an error.
It's not that you forgot to put the P-trap on.
I'm not perfect by any means, but that checking and double checking and
it
making
pays
sure.
off.
Yeah, and I have an apprentice with me, and I let him do a bunch, so I'm monitoring the whole time to make sure everything's good, or if we're splitting up, that I've checked. So, again, if I am running my own callbacks, it's an opportunity for me to get in front of the customer. Okay. Let's just say that I fixed the 6-year-old water heater when I had made suggestions on my invoice that said, hey, better spent here.
Have you thought about these other things we talked about?
Sure. So, and if someone else goes, let's just say that Roger runs over to my callback. He doesn't know what I discussed. He doesn't, I'm very clear with communication on my invoice, and it shows details of this bathroom here, what was replaced, what the part was, what the manufacturer was of the whatever I was fixing.
Do you take pictures?
Lots of pictures.
Love it. Love it.
I had a customer this morning said something about the other guy. I said, well, that was me. He was kind of talking down on the other guy. Well, I didn't feel like he did, whatever. And I said, well, that was me. It was you. Yes. And I have these photographs. They didn't really tell us where is what he said. I said, no, well, here's the photographs. And here's the email where I sent them to your wife. And so that can get muddled. So me going to my own callbacks relieves a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy said, well, I was the other guy.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. And then let them go through the whole deal. And then wait till then and say, well, that other guy was me,
that
right?
was me. I got pictures.
I like that.
Remember? I sent them to you. Oh, that's right. Makes it so much easier.
I like that. DW, I don't know why you didn't get the notification. Sorry about that. Tampa's Plumbing Solutions says hello from Tampa's Plumbing Solution. How are you?
Hey.
Roger, whatever. We're good. Fanco Plumbing. Yeah. Sean was asking about the callbacks there. Tell us more about the twice weekly interviews regarding A, B, C, D, or E customers.
That's great.
And did you communicate with them on that level? Twice weekly interviews.
You said that there was a company that was discussing.
Oh, yes. Bishop Plumbing.
Okay.
Yeah. What they would do, and it wasn't necessarily not A, B, C, or D. It's what kind of disc profile were they? That way.
Can we explain disc profile?
Yeah. Disc profile is a personality profile. I'm a high D, which is dominant. There's dominant influence, which means a people person. So, which is good. I'm an extrovert, but I also want to be in control of things. I want to make sure things get done. The other two are steady. The S and C is like conscientious, calculating. You get some people that are systems and process people. They've got checklists. They've got a million things, and they can systematically do everything.
Lots of information.
Yeah. And that's not me. I'm just like, give me the 30,000 foot view. I'll nail it. And let's get out of here.
Sure.
And doesn't always work that way, but that's the way my personality is.
I think I'm a lot more calculated when it comes to making decisions and things of that nature. So if someone did come to my house, I'm going to weigh out pros and cons of this or that. So it all depends on who you're talking to. So this, like training specifically, I think there's books that you can do, online tests to find out what your personality is, and then identifying it in others too. So
yeah, you can actually I think Tony Robbins has a free disc profile that you can just search disc, DISC profile test. And man, there's some that have 15, 20 questions. It'll give you a 30,000 foot view. There's some you can go deeper on that may have, 50 or 100 questions, and it can really get down and tell you a lot about you, but not just about you, how you communicate with other people.
Sure.
So if you know how other people are, like me, I know I'm a high D. I also study PCM, process communications model, which is a deeper dive into the personalities. And, me, I'm one of these people, if we were walking out, I say, Dustin, turn that off. I mean nothing by it. And Dustin may be thinking,
yes, sir.
He just told me what to do. But there's people that see it that way. And it's a communication style. The neat thing about it is whenever you figure out how people communicate, if Dustin is very calculating, like I say, Dustin, look, I need to run out here. If you'll hit this button, turn this off, this and this, it'll save me some time. Or you go just like, oh yeah, man, I got it. Systems and processes.
That's the why. Yeah.
That's
what I like.
And man, when you learn what different personalities and profiles people are, it's so neat. And it was funny because I'm in Master Networks, and I was talking to a group about a month ago about this PCM. I'm a process communications model coach. And I was talking to him about that. And one of the ladies in there was a mother, and she says, hey, can you hang around for a minute? So we got off the call with everybody else, the Zoom call. And I said, yes, ma'am, what? And she says, I think you just saved my family. I said, what do you mean? She says, we've always talked about my daughter just being so rude and mean. And she talks exactly like you were just talking about. And I said, it's probably her personality. She's not trying to be. And we said, no, we don't think she wants to be rude and mean. It's just the way she talks to people. And you could tell by talking to her, she was a harmonizer, because she'd keep putting her hand on her heart. She's like, oh my God, I love her, but oh my gosh, it hurts my feelings.
She doesn't communicate like I communicate.
Right. She does not communicate like I communicate. And, the neat thing, like when you're talking to a high D or promoter, which is my PCM personality, the best way to communicate is just say, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
wow, you just wait. You asked me what can you do to help? Here's what you can turn this off and do this and do this. Well, I'm probably going to answer you in your language because you've said.
Can I tell everybody about our notes, our pre-show meeting?
Oh, absolutely.
So on our pre-show meeting, Roger and I sat down. We had a few minutes, and I have on my notes pay scale for plumbers.
That's the whole note.
That was our meeting.
That's the whole thing.
So that and he was okay with that. He'd made a couple of extra, and I got what I needed out of it. He got what he needed, and then let's start the show.
But that's the thing, and I don't want it to be rehearsed. I don't want it to be scripted. I talk about, well, these are the different pays I've got down under the performance. Does it help the owner? Does it help the plumber? Does it help the apprentice?
Yep.
How does it help all three?
And so we communicated that together, and boom, let's start it.
Yeah, and it's not just, hey, let's just walk in there and see what happens. You at least want to give people heads up because we're all different. Me, I could walk in. Dustin could have shown up at the door 2 minutes before we went on and say, come on, let's get the camera set. Okay, here we go. Boom. Man, we're going to talk about performance pay. Now, I've known him long enough. I can ask him questions, sit and wait, see what he's got to say. Now, we communicate.
Yep.
But it's nice to sit down and say, okay, look, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what you're thinking. Let's make sure we talk about this. Let's make sure we talk about that. Yep. So I love the performance. And I like it called performance pay, not necessarily commission. I think that when homeowners find out you're a commission plumber, you just want to sell me now because you're just going to make more money. But performance is you've got to work efficiently. You've got to communicate with your customer. You got to make them happy. Part of the deal with Bishop Plumbing up in Chicago was when a customer calls back and complains about the price, your spiffs for that job, everything we got to do comes out of those. And I like that because if you sell the value, people don't call back.
Right.
And I thought that was cool.
I can see the value in that too. With us, we have a few hourly guys that work with us. So if they ever have to go over to those, mine is kind of marked as in Dustin. Mm-hmm. But they would go behind us to make sure, well, the thing they're not asking, just like we had discussed, they're not asking the questions. They don't know what was said, but it is helpful on occasions to have somebody, free you up while you're doing something else or something more, especially on something that's not much. Drastic repairs that need to happen to something I did, that's me. I'm touching that. Right. My hands have to be back on it.
Yes.
Obviously, I learn from mistakes as well. So me going back out there and touching it.
And make sure we double check next time. Yeah. This is never going to happen again.
Or if I see that, wow, this is the third callback on these particular fill valves that we're using, I, being me, am going to communicate back with our supplier, which I have a relationship with as a plumber, to say, hey, what's going on? Is anybody else seeing these? Hey, service manager, are we having a lot of callbacks on this particular, model, whatever? So
I like
that's helpful too.
I like that. We got Steve Arloa says 0 callbacks in 5 years.
Way to go, Steve.
No, I love that. I do. And I was real good back before I got out of the field. I was real good because, I would double and triple check things because I understand, look, once I drive away, it costs me money to come back now.
Yeah. And then Roger also, on the weekends, he goes down by the lake and walks on water. So you got to watch out for that. I guess Steve does too with
every weekend.
0 callbacks in 5 years.
No, that's pretty daggone good. And look, I didn't say I didn't have a lot. I just didn't have very many the last few years.
Me too.
But, man, I really started slowing down. It's like, look, you know what? Let me just go check that one more time.
Sure.
And just double check. But the reason is a friend of mine speaks plumbing here in Garland. One of his plumbers, they got a call from the homeowner and said, hey, can you have your plumber come back? And well, first he's like, well, wait, thought the guy was still there. No, he left about 30 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago. So, well, we went to turn on the sink and water started running out of the cabinet. Guy forgot to put the P-trap on. and one big thing that we teach, but look, Grant's like, hey man, look, he's on the way back or I'll get somebody else over. And I love that. Man, we got to check our work.
Got to.
And man, look, I think I'm a pretty good plumber, but I still check mine 2 or 3 times.
Sure.
I want to know I'm not coming back.
Yeah. Me and the boy put a faucet in last night and he was up underneath the sink with his flashlight and he said, you think we should take everything out of here? And I had him check all the stuff with his flashlight. So that's, checking. That's important.
I'm gonna pull up a channel because I want to share it to y'all. And I want y'all to see this because this is one of the coolest things I've seen. And I'm going to pull her channel up. But I want to tell y'all about this young lady. And her channel is called Little Miss Fix It. And first of all, I want to know, have any of y'all heard of that YouTube channel yet? If you've heard of Little Miss Fix It, and it's Lil Miss Fix It, have y'all heard of that? Because I want to go to, man, and I think it's this one here.
She's replacing a toilet.
Let's see. There we go. So I'm going to put a link in here to this one here.
Look at that ugly mug.
Whoa. Okay, I want to put another link in here. I would just love it if y'all would go over there and subscribe to this young lady's channel. The link to the video is the second link that I put in. Man, y'all really need to go check that out.
Go back and check that one out.
Man, this girl, I don't know how old she is. She's in Georgia. But I mean, she does things like talking about a thermostat, call for heat, is the gas valve on? She has got some of the coolest videos.
Little Miss Fix It, I hope you're watching and you see this. Keep up the hard work.
Yes, absolutely.
She's I can see her replacing a toilet flange.
Yeah, got replacing a toilet flange here. How to install a dishwasher, how to remove a dishwasher, how to replace a kitchen faucet. And I thought about that when you said the faucet. Mm-hmm. Learning to cut steel with oxygen acetylene, how to solder copper tubing. And man, when you, number one, watch the video. And please make sure you leave a comment. Tell her that you heard about her through Roger. But whenever you go over there, man, subscribe to this channel. This little girl is amazing. To watch her, to listen to her is cool. And she mentions me in the video there at the very beginning. And it was really cool because somebody connected with me on LinkedIn, said, I saw you or I heard about you through the Little Miss Fix It. And I'm like, who is Little Miss Fix It? And I started doing research and I found this girl, and I'm telling you, she's out of Georgia. And I'm telling you,
talked to her?
I have not talked to her. I've been talking to her dad.
Awesome.
Through LinkedIn. He's a master plumber in Georgia, nice. HVAC technician, and a controls electrician. So man, guys doing all kinds of cool stuff. So I just want to make sure I tell y'all about that. All right. So commission. Performance pay. I like performance pay because it's an incentivization for your plumbers. A great way to incentivize them. What is your favorite? Let me ask you this. If you open your own company tomorrow, how would you pay your plumbers? If I came in and said, hey, Dustin, look, man, I'd like to apply for a job. I'm a plumber. I've got years of experience. How are you paying your plumbers?
Man, that's a tough question because it would have to be like a trusted confidant, mm-hmm. right? Someone that maybe I have taught something, someone who knows what I know, because I would have to put 100% trust in starting a company with someone. So that being said, I would probably do some sort of a salaried position for them. And then with some sort of a year-end bonus, a monthly bonus, so that we know we can keep the lights on. That would, for me, because I know what it would take to start a company, which is a lot.
Okay.
And that's an investment on my part, and then hopefully have someone else who would be willing to make that investment with me.
Okay, so say you've made that investment, now you're growing.
Sure. I would definitely discuss with them, but a commission-based seems great, mm-hmm. so that they are taking a fair cut of what we're doing. So I like that idea.
Okay. Now it's 3 years down the road. You're doing great. Mm-hmm. Now you need to hire 3 or 4 plumbers. How are you paying all your plumbers at that point?
Yeah, commission-based. I like it because it's kind of a fixed rate for the company so that we know what's going to go into it.
Just a straight commission?
Yes.
But your apprentices
also would be hourly.
I like that.
And it would be a fair wage. I would make sure that in my company structure, I could put an apprentice on 75% of the trucks, if not 100. And the reason I say that is if I sent you over to do a flapper, you know how to do a flapper. You can do a flapper in your sleep. You can identify all of the different flappers. You know about a triple seal, and you know about the 3 1/4 inch Kohler flapper without any kind of doubt.
Right.
But if you sent an apprentice over there, let's just say he is a first-year tradesman who only worked
Has corkies.
right. Well, yeah, only has corkies, or he had only worked on gas jobs or installed tanklesses. He would be very efficient with that. But he doesn't know about toilets. He doesn't know about faucets. I had a plumber. He had just taken his test, called me, and he said, "Hey, I've never taken a faucet apart before." In 2.5 years as an apprentice, he had never taken a faucet apart. Who's at fault there? The company is, because they had him from a green apprentice until he got his license, and he couldn't just jump into service, and then they couldn't just send him all the tankless calls because that's all he had ever done, because that would piss off some of the senior guys because those would have been the good jobs.
You bet.
So they sent him to do some newer style, smaller tasks, and he had no idea how to do it. So whose fault is that? Company's fault, right?
And yeah, absolutely. But it's also really funny because, when we were going down to the Capitol, talking to the Texas state, or talking to the senators and representatives trying to keep the board, I remember the very first time I went down, one of the Texas home builders who's fighting to get rid of the board says, "Look, I got a guy that's been installing bathtubs for 6 years.
Made a good living.
He should be able to get his plumbing license."
Yeah, he made a good living installing bathtubs. What he said, right?
Yeah. Guy makes a good living. So why can't I get him a plumbing license? Because he still was paying a plumber there to make sure I'm assuming he should have been.
He was paying
Is it legal to do plumbing in Texas without a license?
No.
Is it legal to run a company without a license?
No.
Is it legal to run any calls without a license?
Nope.
Well, this guy was probably doing something like it.
Sure. And if he's doing something like that, and he is vehemently opposed to the Texas State Board of Plumbing Examiners.
Which he was.
He was doing something wrong.
And the thing is, he literally stood up and he said this, "Look, I've got a guy been doing this for years. He should be able to get a license." And I'm like, "So what happens when you fire him? If you hire him, he says, 'Hey, I'm a plumber. I got a license.'"
Perfect. Go over and have a look at the sewer
toilet.
system. Yeah.
Go pull and reset a toilet. Well, I've never done that.
Roger. I only do bathtubs.
Yeah, I only do.
Can we only install bathtubs?
Install new bathtubs. Good luck.
Sweet job.
Good luck. So 20% commission, a good number.
Sure. And I think you have different experiences levels for different guys, and some of them would warrant having higher commissions. Maybe they're bringing in higher tickets. They're doing more.
I think you can do that if that person is not just a 50% efficient, more efficient, because now it's like, look, this makes sense.
So that 50% efficient guy, your margins go up drastically whenever he's 100% commission.
Oh, God.
100% efficient.
Oh, yeah.
So that's his bottom line, your bottom line. Everybody's just goes up.
I like that. So I like this idea. I like the 20% straight commission.
Mm-hmm.
I like, we had somebody jumping on the water heater say, what, 15%?
Yeah.
17%, something like that. Because there's a cost for your tankless water heater and your water heater. These are more material heavy jobs than a lot of them. But then again, there's some companies that just pay 20% straight across the board.
Sure.
Here's what it is.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the apprentices being hourly unless they become a revenue source.
Then they should be compensated.
Now that they're at your 20%, and maybe even that, maybe even say, hey, we're going to make it a little more for them.
Yeah, even with those guys, let's just say that just for a round number, $15 is what you're paying your apprentices. $15 an hour. Well,
we pay ours more than that.
Sure. Well, yeah,
we need to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those guys are worth it. And has anybody bought a gallon of fuel lately?
I tell you what.
I'll digress on that.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yep. I tell you what. I got to show. I got to show you. I guess I brought my phone in here. Man, I thought I did. Is that yours over? That is. So here's the deal.
Is it a Let's Go Brandon?
I know. Yeah,
allowed to say that?
Yeah. No, we can. Man, he's killing it. I took a picture at the gas pump yesterday, and I'll show it to you because I think you'll think it was really pretty good.
I've been it's the little sticker. I'm sure you guys have seen them.
I know. Here, I ain't bashful. I mean, it's
Oh, back
okay.
on.
See, I'm back. See, you dropped the phone. Watch
Cough
this.
button.
I just got to tell y'all, it cost me $160 to fill up my truck yesterday.
$188 the other day to fill up mine.
I thought that was pretty cute, though. I saw that and I took a picture of it. Look, nothing bad. I'm just saying it is what it is.
I didn't know we were going to get onto economics. What does
Steve,
Gareth have? What does Gareth have to say down here? Only
my
concern
only
about
concern-
going full commission is the company slowed down on calls.
Yeah, and I meant to get that. That's why I clicked
Yeah.
on it. And that can happen. But here's the deal. Hopefully the companies are ramping up. They're like, hey, we got plumbers. We got to keep them busy. That's all part of it. And you do have slow times in this trade every now and then. But I think you're going to keep your most efficient plumber busy.
Sure. And my fear of going commission always was it's this fear of economic insecurity.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's just say you have 6 guys on commission and you have enough calls for 3 to work all day. Do you split those up equally or do you get the right guy to the job? Okay. So there's something else that a company owner is going to look at. Do I send Dustin to Waxahachie for a dripping faucet? Or do I send Dustin to Waxahachie for a flooded home? Well, I know what Dustin's skill set is, so let's send him this call because he's best suited for that.
And that's the best thing is get the right tech on the right job.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it because at the end of the day, you've got to take care of the company. And I know I'm not looking at y'all. I'm sorry. I saw a good comment over here, and I was trying to find it over here.
Have you ever met Gareth?
I don't believe I have.
Gareth is local. Gareth, he came over to Texas. He had a little bit of experience as an apprentice plumber in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And he speaks with a heavy accent, but he is a Texas licensed plumber.
I love it, man. And I can't find it, so I can't pull it up on the screen. But GW says, I quit sending out plumbers that smoked to do estimates, and my sales went up 25%.
I quit smoking darts in December, so staying strong.
There you go. And the thing is, I've had plumbers that smoke. I've had garage door people that smoke that came up to my house, talked to me, and literally walked right up, and it's just like, I mean, you cannot back up far enough away. So I understand that.
I was at the supply house this morning. I was running calls today, and a guy was getting some pan liner, and pretty sure he had just put the joint out before he walked in. So made me want to. I looked at him. I looked around to see who it was. I made eye contact with my sales guy, and we agreed that he had just put his joint out. So don't do that either.
I know.
Terrible idea.
I know. And Gareth says, I'm loving hourly plus commission.
That's right.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal. I like this. So I like the idea of doing the commission. I like the idea of the hourly. I like the efficiency rating. If we can build a performance-based system that rewards the guys for performance, but then it rewards them even better the more efficient they are. I like that. I like, take that up from, maybe 20 to 22 to 24 to 26
Sure.
to 28.
Staggered.
Yeah. And say, look, here's how this is.
So one of the guys, he called me, one of the guys I had worked with, and he said, hey, I do really well, but they have offered to put me on commission. I said, well, man, it's great. And I kind of shared with him my experience on it. He was like, but what if? He's, we'll say that he's pessimistic.
And it scares a lot of people.
Sure. And it's a very scary thing. So I told him that he has a great relationship with the company he works with and his boss. And I said, stay with your rate and tell them at the end of the year, had you done better, you'd like to see it as a bonus. And he was like, oh, I don't know. Well, I actually spoke to his boss earlier because I kind of discussed with him I was going to use a little bit of that pay structure.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, well, sometimes this guy's his own worst enemy. Not that he does bad, but he overthinks. And if he could put the pen to paper and do the numbers, he has 6, 7, 8 years of a track record of doing really well. This is what it would have been had he been commissioned. So he can see black and white what the difference is, but there's always a fear of economic insecurities for anybody.
You bet.
And I was one of them for a long time. A lot of the companies will offer what they call like a safety net,
Mm-hmm.
$800, $1,000 a week, or your commission, whichever is greater. And that helps with that economic insecurity to know, hey, man, worst come to worst, I've worked every bit of the hours that I was asked, but I did not make more than $1,000 in my commission.
Right.
So that is a tremendous help to them as well to alleviate. And I know a whole bunch of companies that are doing that. Hey, man, we'll pay you $1,000 a week, $1,200 a week as a safety net, or your commission, whichever is higher. But what you're doing as a company is gambling that this person is going to want this more commission than their safety net. So that's kind of a double-edged sword, but it makes guys feel comfortable. So I see the value in that. For a company owner, that might be tough, guaranteeing someone $1,000. I know that with that, there's some prerequisites that have to be touched on. You can't refuse calls. You have to, we're taking calls up until this time. And if you've fulfilled all those obligations, you've definitely earned your $1,000 for the week.
Do a lot of the plumbers that you work with, do they refuse calls?
No, I mean, it's not something that's common, refusing calls, but there's been